Hello. So if you are tuning in and listening to Corks and Confessions podcast while on YouTube, yay! We're so happy to have you here. We understand that there is no video right now. We are having some technical difficulties that we are really trying to work out.
But if you miss our faces, follow us on all of our social media accounts. We're always posting behind the scenes content, really fun stuff. We have so much fun together and we want you to join in on the fun.
We are going to continue to post on YouTube if that's the way that you like to get your podcast. And we can't wait to have our videos back up and running.
And we will. We are working on it. Cheers.
Hi, everyone. Welcome back. You are listening to Corks and Confessions, where we pour a glass of wine and we also pour in our hearts. My name is Jeanette.
And my name is Phoenix. And we're so excited to have you here today. We really want your thoughts and opinions on this certain article that we're going to be talking about today.
129 ways to get a husband. Now, before you freak out, this article was written in 1958. What's really funny is this article actually came into my life from a friend of mine. And so it's been sitting in my email and ruminating in the back of my brain. And when we were talking about doing podcast topics, I was like, oh, we have to talk about this article. It's just so crazy.
I think it's crazy as well. I can't even think of a better word for it. I think that these are so out of left field, these questions, that they're quite comical and also quite concerning.
Yeah. So basically what happened is this woman in Wisconsin was like rummage sailing. And that basically is like kind of going to garage sales, right? And she actually came across this article. It was really old, 1958. And she bought it for like $1. And then she posted it up on her, I think it was Facebook. And then Bored Panda saw it and was going crazy because they couldn't believe the type of actions given to single women in 1958 on how to find a husband.
Oh my gosh. I couldn't believe it. And also, it's also very concerning that it's 1958 because it really sounds like 1858 to me. I mean,
they're so antiquated.
Yeah.
And I mean, I don't think it's easy being a single woman. Just being a woman has its challenges, right? I don't want to say it's difficult. It just has its challenges.
Yes.
So being single and a woman in 1958, apparently the struggle was real. The struggle was real. So we are going to be talking about this article, picking out some things that we thought were really funny, and then also discussing whether or not these things would actually work in real life now. Would that work or would it not work?
Granted, I think that they were written by men. I personally feel like these questions,
Could have been.
a male journalist asked a bunch of men how to find a husband.
Yeah. And then I wonder if some of them are how they actually met their wives, maybe. Who knows?
Oh, that's a good point. Yeah, maybe.
So confessions for the day. My confession today is I actually found my husband, or I don't even like saying found, but we found each other when I know I wasn't looking at all. I was like not on my mind. This one we met. So what about you?
My confession is that I cannot help anybody in this category. I can't help myself. I can't help my friends. I don't know. And definitely these things are not going to help me either. Yeah. But they are really fun to talk about and discuss with your friends.
But first I want to do wine.
Oh yes, wine,
Let's
of course.
Let's talk about our wine. So today we are drinking Proud Pour, which is a cute little wine company that is helping the bees.
It's helping the bees. We love the bees.
It's a Pinot Noir. It's right from Oregon in the United States. And for every bottle that you buy, they actually plant wildflowers to help bees all around the United States. So I thought that was cool.
Yes, we have to save bees. And I think scientists say that if we didn't have bees, our whole ecosystem would collapse. Would fall.
Absolutely.
Save the bees.
Cheers. The bees. Cheers. Delicious.
It's very good.
So they kind of broke it into categories, this article, on where to find him, your husband, how to let him know you're there, like, hey, notice me, how to look good for him, how to land him, and then some crazy, like, anything goes wild ideas. Yeah. So my favorite one, maybe not my favorite, but like one of them I was like, what? Was if he's rich, tell him you like his money because honesty will intrigue him.
I just don't. I think that is so not true. I think for anybody, for any age, for any generation,
whatever your preference is, I think that would make me run for the hills.
run for the hills.
I'm like, oh, really? Thank you for being honest. Bye.
But I think in modern day, maybe that translates to somebody not saying maybe I like your money, but like I like your house. I'm moving in. I don't think that's cute.
Yeah, not cute. Maybe in 1958 they were like, "Oh, this is refreshing because women maybe didn't speak their mind back then." I don't know.
Oh, you think so?
But I do know if someone did say that to me, I'd be like, "Prenup."
Oh, yes,
Yeah.
the prenup.
Yeah.
Prenup. But I don't know if they were as popular in that year as they are now. I feel like people are more, you're getting married. Oh, we need to prenup if you have anything today.
I don't know. I feel like they're pretty normal. People have normalized prenup.
That's what I mean. Like they are popular now,
Yeah,
but I don't
in
know.
1958 were they? I have no idea.
Yeah, I don't
actually.
know.
But we did do like a Google search on when prenups came around, and it was like
2,000 years
yeah,
ago.
they've been around for 2,000 years.
In Egypt.
Sometime in Egypt, but they were legalized in the United States or solidified in 1848 when the New York State passed the Married Women's Property Act. So basically, it sounds like it was like to protect women, maybe?
I know, that sounds like it, but I don't think so. That sounds like more
No,
prenup.
I know that like the way that women's rights was back in the day, if you had money, like if you came into money, you had an inheritance and you got married, that money would become your husband's. So maybe the prenups came around to protect the women initially, not necessarily the men.
That's a very
Yeah. So
good thought.
yeah, but I do know that if someone was like, "You're cute, it's always your money," I'd be like, "No."
Bye.
Bye. Bye.
Yeah. Okay. My first one, I'm just going to go in order.
Okay.
My number 19
Okay.
is get lost at football games.
Wow.
To me, if I was at a football game, I would be on a date.
I don't know how I would feel as a security person if a grown-ass woman came up to me and was like, "I'm lost." They're like, "Honey, there's signs everywhere. Can you not read?"
How do you pretend you're lost,
don't
too?
know. Oh, excuse me. I didn't know. Is this my seat? I don't know.
Do you have a deer in the headlights look on your face, just roaming around?
I know.
With your soda.
Maybe you just write a sign, "I am lost."
Oh, I don't know where I'm sitting. And then
I know.
actually going like through the stadium before, it's so easy to get lost.
It is easy.
At those things.
It is,
like,
yeah.
where was I sitting? You need to drop a pin.
You got to buy a ticket too, so that's a whole thing.
Yeah.
You got to park. You got to pay for parking. Maybe not. It was not as expensive, but now it's like a to-do.
And yeah, now I don't think that's doable, no.
Not at all.
You'd have to get lost in your tiny
No,
section.
it'd be easier to get lost at the bar close to the football game.
Yeah.
Something like that.
And that sounds dangerous.
Yeah. There's plenty of things on here that sound dangerous.
That's true. One of my other ones.
Yeah. Oh, this one I thought was like kind of creeper. Find out about the other girls he hasn't married and then don't repeat the mistakes they made.
Oh, Lord.
That one's loaded.
That
right?
is loaded. I'm like, I want to find out the other girls you didn't marry to put a red flag on your ass.
I know. I was like, they definitely seem to put all of the blame on the woman. Like,
Like,
did
what did
something
they?
wrong.
I'm telling you, they asked men
It's
these questions.
crazy. But I do think this translates to now because I think there are women out there or men who kind of stalk on social media the person they're seeing's exes.
That's true.
Yeah. Don't you think?
No, yeah. I think that's a thing. I think people will look at your past dating history and wonder what happened. I personally, don't do that, but there's so many people that do.
They do. They really do. I thought that was interesting. What about you? What's your next one?
My next one, number 29. This is worrisome, okay?
Okay.
When traveling, stay at small hotels where it's easier to meet strangers.
Cringe.
Crime junkie Miss Jeanette has a lot of thoughts.
Well, I will say that's like rule number one, be aware of your surroundings. I can actually tell you when I was an actor in the Southeast, I had to get in my car and drive to different locations to work. And there are some pretty sketchy hotels that I had to stay in overnight. And I remember this one time, two truck drivers watched me from my car walk to my room, kind of like in my peripheral, like, okay, maybe they're just like standing outside smoking and they're like not looking at me. And then I kind of like looked and I was like, they're still looking.
Oh,
and then I got in my room and I like shut the blinds and I was like, okay, you're freaking out. You're being ridiculous. And then I like peeked through the blinds. I'm using peeking hands. Like I have to do that. It's hilarious. And they're still looking at my door. And I kid you not, I gathered my things. I went back to the desk and I was like, I would like a refund. I am not staying here. I don't feel comfortable. But yeah, I suggest don't do that, ladies.
We opt out of this one.
Yeah.
And if you're, honestly, if you're a female traveling alone, don't do that. Definitely don't look for people.
Yeah.
in your surroundings.
Lots of people, well lit. Yeah.
Just plan well, okay, is all I'm saying.
Exactly. Okay, do you have another one?
I do. My next one, this one made me cackle. It made me cackle completely. Number 40. Stand in a corner and cry softly. Chances are good that he'll come over to find out what's wrong.
Where's this corner? Like, I'm trying to think of like where in the world these corners exist.
And how would you like just cry there? Like, what does that look like? That looks hilarious in my head.
I know. I literally see, for some reason, I see it in like this alley. I'm picturing a woman in an alley like crying softly. And then you know what I'm doing? If I was a guy, I'd call 911. Like, something's going on. There is something wrong. I don't know if it's a mental health breakdown or if somebody tried to do something to her, but I'm not entering that situation by myself.
Well, it says cry softly. So I'm thinking of someone just like weeping and like you have to do like a little pouty face, like, look at me.
Gosh.
Oh, so cringy.
They might just walk past you and be like, I don't know what's going on with that girl.
These days, for sure.
Yeah.
Nobody's stopping to ask what's wrong. They're like, oh, block that. Let's ignore that.
Yeah.
What's your next one?
Oh, so this one I thought was really interesting. Point out to him that the death rate of single men is twice that of a married man.
Okay, so let me do that on my first date.
Yeah. Hey, you know why we should get married? So that you don't die.
So you don't die
sooner than you should. If you be with me, boo, you're going to live longer, okay?
Oh my God.
So it got me thinking, is that true? Or are they just like throwing out some BS? And I looked, and in 1958, that was true that you did live longer. And then I was like, what about now? Is that true? Do married men and married women live longer than single men or women? And yes,
that is
the
so
fact is true. According to the National Library of Medicine, they did a study.
There's research.
And this was recent, like 2020. August 15, 2020.
But are you sure it's for women? Because I feel like women would definitely, that marriage shortens their life. And men, for sure, it extends it. Like, I have no doubt about that.
It was not as equal. Men definitely benefit more from marriage as far as life expectancy. But women do benefit as well. Not as much as men. But I thought that was really interesting.
That is interesting.
Yeah. So I guess between the age 65 and 85, married men and women had a longer total life expectancy and average life expectancy than unmarried men and women.
Is this research worldwide or is it just in the States? Because I feel like marriage in other countries is way different than it is in the States.
I believe this is the United States.
Okay.
Because it's the National Library of Medicine. So I believe this is just the United States. But, you know, you can fact check me because I'm going to put this information out there for y'all to read. So you can go to the link, which will be in our show notes.
That's interesting. I would be interested to see like this, like if there. I feel like it would be a difference.
Yeah, I believe this is the United States. You should drop that on your next date.
Oh yeah, just like,
For sure on your
did
next
you
date.
know?
Did you know that you'll live longer if we get married?
So, what do you think? Sip, sip.
Date number 2 coming in the works. That's funny.
All right. My next one is number 58. So worrisome. It says to get a sunburn. Period.
What does that mean? That was it. The whole it just said get a sunburn.
Just says get a sunburn. And
Wow.
okay, maybe because I don't know, is he gonna come over and rub some lotion on you? But it's saying basically you should put yourself in danger.
They don't think in 1958 they knew
Oh,
skin
that's
cancer. I don't think they
true.
knew. So maybe this is okay. So here's my theory. They were
That's
like,
true.
get a sunburn, then you have to go to the doctor, and then you have to go meet a pharmacist. You're gonna be meeting maybe eligible bachelors because you self-inflicted sun damage.
Clearly, these are like look in pain, be in pain,
And
and
then
your prince will come rescue you.
Yeah.
Give me a break.
she loves that. She loves that.
Oh, Lord.
Okay, so another one. This was the number 115. This one I actually thought it reminded me of something that we saw that was trending on social media. So this one says, rent a billboard and post your picture and telephone number on it. So just like, hey, my name's Jeanette and I'm looking for a husband. Here's my number.
Yeah, we did see this on Instagram.
Yeah, I think it was Instagram.
Because, you know, that popular page, Dude with a Sign, this
Mm-hmm.
girl copied that, got dolled up, stood at a corner with a sign and said, looking for a husband or something like
Yeah,
that.
that's basically very similar. So nothing's changed.
Yeah, nothing's changed. And it was quite cute, I might say.
I thought it was really cute.
But it's obviously comical and she's not being serious. But
Yeah.
also, she's probably looking for a husband.
Might be true. It might stem from a little bit of like
Like,
inner
nothing
truth.
is working. Let me post a sign.
Yeah. What do you have to lose? What do you have to lose? Oh, there was. Okay. So this is not related to like finding a husband, but I have seen there was an actress that really wanted to like work for Tyler Perry. And so she put her headshot, hey, Tyler Perry, I want to work with you.
No shit.
She did. She put it out there. I think it was in Atlanta because that's where his studios are. And it sort of backfired a little bit because he did find out about it. People, were posting about it and commenting about it, and it got his attention. But then he was like, why are you spending your money on
Yeah.
doing this? You don't need to do that if you're talented.
Yeah.
You should just focus on studying.
I would think
and
that
doing anything.
backfired.
Yeah. I was
I
like,
would-
oh.
That would make sense.
But also
to me.
really brave. Like, fudge. I would never be that brave enough to be like,
brave or needy and just too
Desperate.
forward. Yeah, I think there's a fine line, I think.
I don't know. I know I've heard crazy things about different people who take a risk doing something like that.
Yeah.
And it does work. But it probably only works 1% of the time.
There's a fine line. I feel like if you there's a difference. Like if you are talented and you like there's something that you see someone out there and the universe is telling you they fix it all together for you to do this brave thing versus just doing something like that and making it public and like a
Yeah.
wanted sign for Tyler Perry with your picture on it.
Yeah.
I don't know. That is a fine line, though. There is because you do hear about successful people that take the initiative and are brave,
Do
and then
something crazy.
there's also the desperation and neediness from
Yeah.
a lot of other people that it doesn't work for.
Yeah. It might not work.
Yeah, so there's a fine line. There's a fine line.
Yep. That's true. Confessions. So I did confess earlier on that I found my person that I would marry when I wasn't looking, or we found each other really. So I know this sounds crazy, but I told Phoenix that I was at a point in my life where I did not think I was going to get married. I thought I was going to be alone for the rest of my life, and she thinks it's funny.
I think it's hilarious because she was 20.
I was older than 20, okay? I got to that point because I had some real crappy relationships. I'm a very trusting person, and when I care about you, you have my trust, basically from day one until you ruin it. And the last relationship I had before I met my husband, this dude literally stole my car
What?
Yeah.
Wait, you've never told me this story.
No. So here's what happened. I was going to sell my car to him because I got a new vehicle. It wasn't brand new, but it was new to me. And he was going to pay me for it. And what I did is I signed the title over before I got the money. And then he dipped out on me.
Oh, no.
He just ghosted me, basically.
With your car.
With my car. And I think now to that woman who I was, and I was really naive to do that. I was too trusting. So that's where I was. So when I actually met my husband, I was not looking. He asked me to dance, and I said no. And then maybe because he was really cute, or maybe because he was just very persistent, I gave him my number, and the rest is history from there. But yeah, I was not looking. I was like, I'm going to work on myself, and I am going to just be a business person. I'm moving to Japan. I literally told him on our first date, I'm moving to Japan.
So bye.
So if this doesn't work out, I'm going to go teach English. Change my life. Because I have no idea what I want to do with it.
And I'm 18. I've exaggerated, but it's true.
I haven't figured it out. So, yeah.
So from making fun of you.
She was like, oh my gosh, you really thought you were going to be singing forever. And I was like, I really did.
My thoughts on that, as we're sitting here, as I'm listening to you tell it, I also feel we're different in the sense that maybe you grew up wanting to get married and a family life.
Yeah, I did.
And I did not. So that was never a trajectory, even from when I started dating, because I have some pretty traumatizing relationship stories from when I was young as well. But I guess my mentality wasn't like, oh, I'm looking for a husband. I'm getting married. I kind of knew that I would in some way, or like I felt like it would happen, but it wasn't what I wanted, what I saw for myself. Like it wasn't at the forefront of my mind.
Yeah.
But you grew up with the sense of...
Yeah, I think I wanted a family. I wasn't the girl that like drew my wedding dress or like imagined what my wedding would be. But I definitely pictured myself with a family unit.
So when you first started dating, you were dating because...
Yeah. Well, in the Midwest, I can't speak for everybody in the Midwest, but dating was much more serious thing. If someone asked you out, it was because they were interested in you in more than just one thing.
Yeah.
And then when I moved to Florida, I had to learn how to date again. I was like, wow, so we're hanging out. That doesn't mean we're dating? So we're not like a thing? What does hanging out mean?
What does hooking up
mean?
I
hang out with my friends. Am I dating
my
or
friends?
Hanging with my friends? What is going on? I don't understand.
That's so cute. Yeah, I definitely didn't see it that way.
Yeah, so
that's why you were probably over men.
But now you're saying like, oh, I have no idea how to find out. I couldn't help you try to find. Like, what kind of dating advice do you give your friends then?
I think I give friends dating advice. And like it depends on who wants to get married and who doesn't, but I feel like, when I give dating advice, it's like a give and take, right? Like I'm getting advice from it. We're figuring it out together as we're going through this dating world. Even with you, like you're married, but it's also a perspective shift. You never really stop dating your partner.
Yeah,
so it's
true.
It's a back and forth. Like
that's a whole podcast topic in and of itself.
Yeah.
Like settling and being too comfortable and your routine. You should be dating your partner.
Yeah, I do agree with that. So I feel like if I give advice, it's more on solidifying what you want, what you're looking for, how to compromise, or like if that's a red flag. Red flag is such a like key word, but it just makes so much sense.
Yeah.
Right. And a red flag, it doesn't necessarily mean you are a red flag person. It just means like that's a boundary for you that you can't compromise on.
Yeah.
So
it's better to find that out early on.
And so it leads to me being like, I really don't know. I don't know how to find a husband. I don't know how. And I don't want to say that I'm actively looking, but I think once I got to a certain point of dating, then it was, okay, well, yeah, I'm not dating for fun anymore. I'm dating because I want a family, even if there's kids involved or not.
Yeah, that's like my next question, I guess. Is there a difference between dating and dating when you're looking for a husband?
Yeah, that's a very self-searching question because I think there is a huge stark difference in dating and dating for marriage. So I feel like in the past few years, it's like there's an in between of like, okay, I'm dating and I'm meeting and I'm giving people, I'm like scoping it out and dating potentially to get married. Where I'm at the point now where it's like, okay, I know right away, basically, if you're husband material or you're not. So, do I want to expend the energy if you're not just to have fun and put you in that category? Or are you taking up my space and energy
For someone you could be
for
meeting.
someone I could be meeting and hopefully get married to and have a family with?
Right. Okay, so my take on this is about intention. If you set intentions for certain things in your life, it makes sense. So, like, if your intention for dating is, I just want to have fun, I just want to meet people, I don't want to be tied down, I just want to F buddy, whatever. What is your intention when you leave the house and your cute dress and your sexy heels? Like, I feel like intention has a big deal with what you attract in your life. If you're putting out the vibe that I just want sex
Or fun
or
just
fun or adventure,
drinks and flirting.
I think it's okay. Absolutely do you. You have to set that intention when you're going out, when you're meeting people. Are you going to the right places that you might potentially meet a husband? You know, if you're going to, I can't even think of a place right now. What was I gonna say?
Coffee shop.
I mean, you can meet people at a you can meet people anywhere.
Anywhere.
But if you're only going to your,
Your local bar.
your local bar where it's all your same friends and there's no new people or something like that. But if you are a woman and you're looking for a husband, you might have to go outside of your typical places that you personally hang. You might have to go outside your comfort zone to meet somebody. Just saying.
Yeah.
And as far as intention goes, when I went out that night with my girlfriends, I was working really hard to try to figure out what I want to do with my life. And I had a full-time job. I didn't even like my job. Yeah, it was like corporate America. I didn't like it. And it was like a Thursday. And my intention was to go to support my friend because I didn't want her to go by herself for the night. And so, yeah, that intention kept me through the night. And then I had a paradigm shift at the very end when I gave him my number. So I think you also have to be open to that too.
Yeah, because I think so. I'm really glad you brought up I love the word intention. I love that word. So when you're saying your intention, so you had an intention for the night, right? But you also had an underlying intention for your life. Yeah. So that's where it opened you up to possibly give him your number. And then that's what
I see what you're
made the relationship that you developed, because your underlying Jeanette intention was to have a marriage, to have a partner. So that's why it grew the way it did. Because so a lot of girls, I think, and especially when you're partying and with your girlfriends and you have the intention of, I think the intention is mixed, right? Because maybe your underlying intention is to find a husband, but you're also intention for the night.
My intention was to have fun.
I want to have fun.
I'm dancing with my friends right now. Sorry.
Yeah. But I want to but also I want to go meet people and I want to have fun with those men or with those women, whatever you're attracted to. But I want to have fun and I also want to get married. And when that conflicts is when you get confused and when you meet the wrong people and when you give people too many passes and then you get all lost in the mix of
what are you really looking
not
for?
Solidifying
what do you really
your,
want?
Your intention. Exactly.
What do you want?
What do you want? What do I want? Tell me. So yes, I think there's a big difference in dating and dating for marriage. What do you think about women today? Are we still dating for husbands, or do you think we are dating to have life partners? Where do you think the difference is, and what do you think is more popular? What do you think?
Well, I don't think we would have as many reality love shows if people weren't still looking for the loves of their lives.
Truth.
We right? Like facts. There are so many dating shows, so many reality dating shows out there. I mean, 90 Day Fiance, the whole franchise of 90 Day Fiance is people couldn't find love in their own country, so they're going to another country to find love, right? So, yes, I think it's like innately part of our existence that humans are social beings and we want to share things with people. So yeah, I don't think the search for husband or partner is going anywhere. Speaking for myself, marriage is like, yeah, it's something I want, but I'm okay waiting for the right person to do it. I'm okay focusing on my career, my education, my family, my friends until that person comes along. And I don't need to get married at 23 or 18. And it's okay if I do, but I think people are waiting for the right person. They're not jumping in, I guess, necessarily right away. They don't have to, at least. There's not that pressure anymore for you to like graduate high school and only go to college so you can meet your husband.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, women were pressured to like, you haven't gotten married yet. You're going to be an old maid.
Yeah, that's true. So I feel like for me, so I'm struggling with this question because I feel like I want a family. I want to have a family dynamic. Like I said, whether it's with children or not, I think when you get married, it's to form a bond of a family. And I think that is very special. But I'm also struggling with, okay, I want to do that. You have to find the one. You have to find your romantic love. And I'm struggling with like, what if you don't find a romantic love? What if you find a good partner and you don't necessarily get married and you just form a life partnership?
Absolutely.
But then also, are you always going to long for a husband, like the person that's supposed to be your husband? And is that energy blocking you from finding your husband? But but you are very happy and you are in love, maybe not romantic love, but maybe you are in love and with the partnership that you have.
Yeah.
So
yeah, absolutely.
I struggle with that.
I think too, the term husband might be also, not that the word husband's going away. Like, I have feelings about the word husband.
Really?
I absolutely do. I think it's sexy.
I was going to say, I love it.
I love the word husband. Yeah. Like, all he has to do is call me his wife. And I'm like, yes.
Yeah.
Yes. I don't know why I find it's a beautiful word.
Yeah.
But there are many people who, like you said, want to have just lifelong partnerships. There's celebrities out there that have, like Shakira and her partner never got married, right? Even though they split up now.
Oh, did they not get married?
They were never married. No, never married.
Interesting. But is that because she's like a multimillionaire and he was not at all?
There's a lot of people that just don't. They're just in long-term relationships.
That's going back to my question, though. Is it because I feel like as a whole, if you're I don't know, maybe that's just me. I can't say it, but I feel like if you are romantically, romance, love, you want that to call that person your husband. But if you're just looking for a partner, then I for me, that's like two separate.
It would be really, for me personally, I think it'd be really hard to commit to somebody for a lifetime if I wasn't romantic about that person.
But it's not it's maybe it's a commitment for a lifetime in the sense of what you're talking about, but innately it's not, because you're not married. Like, innately in your gut, you can leave your life partner at any time.
I don't think so. I think just because I don't know if the word marriage suddenly makes things less messy. Like, I don't think Shakira was thinking, oh, because we never got married, it hurts a little less.
No, I'm not saying that at all. No,
or
I'm not
it's
saying
easy to leave, or I don't think that at all.
I don't think it's easy. It's definitely easier, though.
Maybe like paperwork wise, it might be easier, but like you still entwine your life with somebody. Entwining your life, entwining your family's lives.
No, I don't feel it's easy. I don't feel it's easy at all, but I do feel
Feel like
like
the pressure's off or so left somehow if you're
it's
not
somewhat.
married.
It's somewhat like if I go to my girlfriends, if I went up to you and I had a life partner, like I'm leaving
Your life partner.
my life partner, I need to move out. Like it's the emotions, everything is validated. It's still everything is still present.
It's still a divorce.
It's still a divorce. But if I went up to you like I'm getting a divorce, for me that
It
feels
sounds scarier.
it sounds scarier. It feels heavier. It's more of a thing, I think.
Do you think it's because in a typical marriage you have a wedding and so people witnessed the union or something?
No,
I don't know. I just find that very interesting because
yeah.
I know people who have been life partners and just because they weren't married, trust me, it was a divorce.
No, I do.
Even though you're not together, it's a divorce. It's a freaking divorce.
But even if, sometimes I've gone through breakups that only lasted a few years and that felt like a divorce. It depends how intertwined you are. But still, even if I got married, even if I eloped with someone and I signed that paper and I made that commitment to you and to myself in a marriage bond, for me,
it would be harder to
it would
leave.
it would just be heavier.
Maybe
heavier is not a good word, but it would just be more complicated and it would take me a lot longer maybe to come to that conclusion.
To come to that decision. I see what you're saying. Interesting. Yeah, speaking of other couples, I know Goldie Hawn and Kurt Russell.
They've had a life partnership.
Forever. Other couples. I was trying to look up other couples too that I was surprised about that are not married. They're just life partners. Oh, you know what? One of the things I did want to ask you.
Sneaky snake!
It's not a sneaky snake, I promise. So along the lines of like, are women still looking for husbands? Are people still looking for partners? There are so many other different types of relationships now. Having an open relationship, polyamory, whether that's like a guy has several wives or a woman has several husbands. There's a fascinating show about women who are searching for their brother husbands.
God,
I mean, good for them. I couldn't do it. I'm not good at sharing.
I was gonna say I'm not a good sharer at all with anything, much less people.
Yeah, emotionally that would be very tough. But so there's this idea that you can also have like consensual non-monogamy, meaning that you are in a monogamous committed relationship, but every once in a while you can have a consensual non-monogamous relationship with somebody else. And the fear of that, of course, is that what if they fall in love? Then it gets really complicated.
That's where the thing is with these kinds of relationships. There's always an underlying human thing where you're going to be looking for the one, I feel. Like the one that just lights your gut on fire. So when you have those relationships.
Do you think, I mean, that's like, I feel like a whole other podcast talking about open relationships.
Yeah.
Can they work and how do they work? That kind of thing. But it would be tough for me to handle, but I understand why people might choose that.
Oh yeah, I definitely don't judge it. I definitely understand it, and I'm open to you doing it.
Right?
I'll hear all the tea.
Yeah.
But it's as much as I would try hard to want that open freedom.
To be okay with it, yeah.
I just know that I couldn't.
Yeah.
I couldn't. I just couldn't do it.
Yeah. That's interesting. How to get a husband. Have we figured it out, folks? I don't know.
Going back to your dating show comment.
Yeah, people are still figuring out the best way to do that. They're not sure if love is blind or
or the experts can marry you.
Yeah, maybe the experts can get you married and you just meet them at the altar and just skip all the dating. There's a ton of ways. You can go on The Bachelor, Bachelorette.
Gosh.
The search continues. The
discussion continues.
The
figuring it out
will
be forevermore.
Absolutely. This was so fun.
This was fun.
I really do encourage you to go and read this article, even just to like get a good laugh, Please. And if you ever try one, and please tell me.
Oh my gosh. Please let us know. I think I think for maybe a little skit later on, we might try some for
Yeah.
me. For me, clearly.
Really, that would be really fun. You know what? I will be your
Wing woman.
I'll be your wing woman.
Okay.
Girl, I will be there. I will help you.
We will try some of these out and see if they work.
Yeah.
You'll find me in a corner sobbing.
If you ever go out and you
And
see
you'll-
her in a corner,
You'll find Jeanette in the other corner laughing her ass off.
it's working. Keep going.
It's working. They're looking at you.
Oh, there was one really good idea that I did want to share really quick. Okay, so one of the suggestions was to carry a camera wherever you are and then to ask handsome men to take your picture.
Oh.
And I was like, hold up. You have your phone all the time on you. So maybe if you're ever somewhere and you see someone who looks like they might be single and hot, just be like, hey, do you mind taking a picture for me? That's such a cute idea.
We're trying that.
Yeah.
We're going to try it.
1958 would
Take a
have been
picture of us.
complicated because I can't imagine how big those cameras are.
That's true. Wow.
But today in 2023, your camera is on your phone, baby.
I'm so happy you brought that up.
Yeah.
Because, that's actually a cute one.
It is a cute idea.
It is.
Yeah. On that note, I think we should wrap this episode up.
Yes.
We came up with one from the 129 ways that might actually work.
That might actually work.
Yeah.
And will actually be fun.
Yeah, it'll be fun to try. So I just want to say thank you for tuning in. Don't forget to subscribe so that you're notified when our episodes come out, which is every other Friday.
And please follow us at Corks and Confessions on Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube.
We're so happy that you guys joined us. Don't forget, you are a bad bitch.
You are a bad mofo.
We will see you next time.
See you next time.